resource center fashion, we like to observe in many ways throughout the entire month of November. And so we've been doing various initiatives already. And one of the ways we've been observing it is through our managing financial stress workshops. We've been partnering with Inspire Cayman, Mr. Michael Miles, and typically these workshops can cost anyone around $450, and he's been very generous to provide this to the public for free. And of course, our theme this year for International Men's Day is "You Are Not Alone, Zero Male Suicide." And we do know, obviously, a big contributor to suicide is, of course, financial stress. And the economy right now, as we know, is incredibly difficult. Even those that are in what we might say decent or well-paid positions are also finding it difficult to, pivot, budget accordingly, and still make ends meet, and also potentially still save towards the well-being of their families. So it's something, obviously, we want to target. We've been offering this every Wednesday in November in various districts. And so we have 2 more left. We're going to be in Georgetown next Wednesday and then Boddentown the week after. Yeah, so we've been wanting, obviously bringing the news to the people, making it as accessible to the various districts as possible. Like I said, making it free of charge. And it's incredible information that if you take it on, you put it into practice, it could potentially take you out of a financial crisis or support you in preventing one. So Mr. Michael Miles from Inspire Cayman is very well versed to give you those tools and those skills to do so. We just on the Sunday gone, we had a fantastic basketball tournament. It was so entertaining, but it was so great to see the sportsmanship from the men and boys that came out, and their skills. It was really incredible, and it was the most registrations we've ever had. We had 25 teams out there and showing their skills, and just having a great time, and just it's another healthy environment for boys and men to come together and be positive with one another. And of course, those social interactions are another mitigating factor for suicide, right? We talk about women being social creatures, but it's certainly a human thing. And men, boys and men also need a sense of belonging, especially in this day and age. And so that was really wonderful to see. We were also in the BRAC where we did football, and that was a great turnout and really fun to see the young people just enjoying it and getting some good little prizes at the end also. And then we have, for those that, maybe find it hard to come out in person to things, we have a webinar next Tuesday where we're going to be focusing on safeguarding boys and men against suicide. And so it's not just geared towards parents, but, anyone that wants to learn about, what is it? What is suicide? How does someone maybe get to that point? What are those risk factors that I can look out for so I can make sure that I'm supporting the boys and the men in my family? Because, obviously we talk about the many public and private mental health institutions on island, but of course the best resource are us, having community, and obviously pushing past maybe resistance or ego or things like that boys or men might present with, and seeing that they still need our input, they still need our support, they still need us, they still need to see that we care, that we're showing up for them. Mm-hmm. And a big way of doing that is educating ourselves to kind of, what do we look out for? How do we support that? How do we prevent it without obviously pushing someone maybe a little bit too much over the edge, right? So we want to make sure that people are educated on that, and we're going to have Mr. Greg Miller from Infinite Mind Care. He's a psychologist. He's very well known in our community, and obviously well versed on the topic, and has great things to share with those that attend next Tuesday.
And then this is where I think that partnership in you appreciate the different individuals coming together using not just their expertise, their resources, but they even sometimes drawing from their personal experiences and bring it across. Um, it's perhaps often that men may overlook, even within themselves, some of the issues, and society may do as well, and it's probably compounded perhaps by how it's portrayed in the media. With this though, how do we get men to acknowledge that? How do I put this? Someone shared something with me the other day, and as I was reading what they had, found, it almost as if we're still assigning labels, to roles. A man can't be,
Right.
this, and a woman. And I'm wondering if we just dividing more and more by speaking to, the labels and the
Yeah.
like. What's your?
I agree. I think one day we'll get to a place where we're just talking about human problems and not being so probably gender specific and divided. But at present, we definitely have very different needs. And I think, yeah, absolutely society, what I keep hearing from men and fathers who might be my clients is that, like, what gets perpetuated in society is that you can't or you shouldn't do this and you should be this certain way. And a lot of times that has to do with burying emotions, not being kind of your authentic self, if that steers away from the stereotypical manly man. But I think, girls and women too have a place in supporting their men in being whoever they are, as genuine as they want to be, and allowing them a space to be open with their emotions. But they have to feel safe to do that and be able to talk about what's going wrong. And so sometimes that can take place more so in sports. Men might open up a bit more to their teammates or to their friends. And we are noticing a lot more of a shift, I would say, even just globally, where men are, giving that allowance to one another to be just human, right? And in the way they parent their boys and their girls too, and allowing their boys to cry and voice how they're feeling. I am noticing that, especially in how I service various families and fathers. I'm noticing it's tough to change, right? But they're self-aware and they're doing their best to be a bit more tender and understanding with their boys as well, and shift maybe some of their expectations with them.
Right.
Yeah. And it's all about open dialogue, right?
Yeah.
I think once you're able to voice, hey, I don't feel comfortable to, just be myself, I want to see this shift. I think the more of us voice that because we feel it, the more we'll start to see change. And that was a big thing we saw. We did a boys group over at Clifton Hunter with a large number of boys there. We had Ray McLeod, who is a part of the mental health team at the prison. We had Samuel McDermott, who is a counselor here at the counseling center, and Andre Bailey, who has been taking lead of our International Men's Day campaign and works with us at the Family Resource Center. That was something that came up a lot from the boys, that they're turning a lot to things like spirituality, and other ways of kind of connecting and feeling a sense of belonging. But you can see there's a big cry and a big kind of craving to be heard and to be seen by other boys and men too. And so, we talk about, say, we partner quite a lot with One to One, who used to be the Big Brothers Big Sisters mentorship program. They're now called One to One. And an ongoing issue that they've been having is that, men don't necessarily sign themselves up to be mentors. There's loads of mentees, loads of littles that want to get partnered with a mentor, a male mentor, but men don't necessarily go into that. But it's something that's incredibly important. How are men role modeling for young boys and giving them safe spaces too,
All right, well, Ms. Amber, when we come back from the break, I
Yeah.
invite you to share some more, maybe relax, some other questions. But thanks so much for being part of our discussion, and we'll talk to you right after the break, huh?
Absolutely. Thank you
Okay,
so much. I'll
you're
see you soon.
welcome. Sure.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I go in flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
How can you make a classic BLT sandwich even better? Well, by adding tuna. The land meets the sea in Subway's new sandwich, the Tuna BLT, available for a limited time. The Tuna BLT is exploding with flavor. Imagine crispy, juicy bacon strips on top of tuna, fresh lettuce, and slices of tomato, topped with your favorite sauce and choice of freshly baked bread. Enjoy the best of both worlds with the Tuna BLT from Subway. Subway, eat fresh.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Welcome back, and the wonderful pleasure of one of our excellent public servants, Miss Anne-Marie over at the Family Resource Center, join us by phone. Hey, thanks very much for sharing your time with us, and as we talk about International Men's Day in particular. So thanks very much, Miss Anne-Marie.
Thank you so much for having me, Sterling. I really appreciate it.
You're most welcome. And as I look at things that are unfolding globally, but sometimes we should look at what's happening just right within our own communities.
Right.
And as you shared, increasingly we need to be in a space where the people step up and they offer themselves in a very nurturing, sincere, genuine way.
Yeah.
And men perhaps need to take up the mantle and be like the stalwarts or forefathers. If I might ask, given the changing landscape, both from the political and cultural dynamic, to what extent do you think there are some of us who are trying to assist, how relatable are we to, the young man, and how important is it for us to be relatable?
Oh, that's such a great question. I think, I think it comes down to definitely us challenging ourselves and questioning that are we being relatable, and how can we meet the needs there? I think that's something that's really important. And I heard you calling out our men too. I think today we joined other government officials on the steps of government administrative building to have our photo for Dress for a Cause. And when you look, there's lots of women out there, and obviously women, we care so much about the boys and the men in our lives that we work with and so forth and work for. And I think men need to be allowed and give themselves that allowance to recognize that, yes, you are important. Your health is just as important. And you need to start caring about it if you're not already, and at least caring about your fellow man and the boys and the men in your own life. I think that's important. Give yourself that permission. And it's not just about, going to the hospital or going to a therapist. It could just be about, checking in with yourself and, am I taking care of myself? Is there a better way to go about it? Am I spending, enough time in terms of exercise or sports or in social settings? Do I feel like I belong?
Yeah. Or even downtime.
Yeah, absolutely. Giving yourself permission to shut off and to step away, being in nature, connecting with God, whatever that might look like for you, and definitely connecting with boys and men in your community and asking what do they need and what are some things that need to change.
Yeah, if I might through you, drawing from a conversation I was privy to, and just listening to the dynamic, is it that in today's society we see a man, a strong man, physically strong, he's assertive, he is, the go-getter, the sort of persona that may have been the order of the day generation or three ago. How is that man perceived today? Is he welcome? And I talk about publicly, maybe I should phrase it differently, but let me see if I can be as casual with it as possible.
Sure.
So that strong man who, does these things and, gives himself permission, takes charge, picks up the mantle, protects, provides, does all these things. Is he valued and respected, or is he looked upon going, well, we don't do things that way, that's old-fashioned,
Well, I definitely think those men absolutely matter, and manliness and manhood can take on many forms.
Right.
And I am reminded by a great speech, actually Mr. Greg Miller did provide last year at our State of Boys and Men Forum.
And he's an incredible example, so you have a fantastic...
he spoke about how we need those strong men that will run towards fire as firemen and run towards danger. That is innate. That is part of men's biology. That they're geared to protect and to support, and that is part of what our community needs. It's not to say that women can't do that too, of course, but it is something that's a part of male biology and something that should be celebrated. Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's interesting because as I was invited to be a part of that, I was given permission, and not necessarily I would need it, but I would, I was happy that he said, because it's coming to, this month and International Men's Day, and that being on the periphery, not organized formally by anyone, the need to have those discussions. And what was interesting, there were some slides. Yes, we went old-fashioned PowerPoint. There were some slides up there as to how men are sort of perceived and projected and presented in today's world. It was a bit of levity, but it was a very striking contrast to the way the man looks today, say in Hollywood, for instance, versus yesteryear. And here's this guy on a scooter, with a handbag and a bun and very effeminate, for want of a better thing. His walk, his gait, his talk, his flippantness. And I wonder, what are we doing to the world with our labels and our energies and the...
Oh gosh, yeah, it does make things a lot more challenging. I think there's lots of new conversations, and I'm sure people see it on social media, and I'm sometimes kind of wondering how far left field are we going. But
how lost are we?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we can respect maybe other people's lifestyle choices as theirs.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't, create unsafety in community, I think. But as it pertains to, obviously our focus in terms of our campaign, our theme is You Are Not Alone, Zero Male Suicide. Reason being, men and boys do unfortunately die by suicide at an alarming rate in comparison to their female counterparts. And there's obviously major reasons for that. And a big thing, and why we do talk about things like emotions, is because men aren't given that allowance necessarily to do it, and they may even be labeled effeminate or something intended to be derogatory to kind of shut them up. And it's obviously not something that is helpful when they end up taking the route of dying by suicide. And so we want to make sure that we're providing spaces to educate, so that if you're a boy or a man, that you are, understanding how to support and prevent these things, or a girl and a lady that wants to support the males in your life too. And like I said, financial stress is often a huge contributor to suicide. It's a huge strain for many families nowadays. So our financial stress workshop, we certainly want to encourage that. We have our T-shirts for sale if you'd like to, organize and celebrate the men in your organization by holding a Dress for a Cause Day in your school or your organization. That would be incredible, and you can purchase them through us at the Family Resource Center. And coming on to our webinar next Tuesday at 6, I think would be incredibly enlightening for many. And also give yourselves permission to ask questions. We're going to have Mr. Greg Miller from Infinite Mind Care, who's a psychologist, and is very, open and understanding. So any questions you may have, you can log in and ask those. And us, too, as a department of the counseling services, we're here for people who want safe spaces and dialogues to talk about things and to prevent suicide of boys and men in their lives.
And I appreciate you sharing that, because I think as I listen to you, looking at a message from one of the individuals in the little group as well as part of that presentation was asking me to share something, but maybe I should, maybe I will. I know we have a scheduled break. I know you've made time in your schedule to share this information. You have time to continue up until 1, or do you?
Absolutely. If you'll have me, that would be great.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. You engage and enlighten. You help us to inform. So stay on the line. We'll get to you in a second, okay? All right.
It's game time, Subway fans. We're upping our sub game with the all-new Subway Series menu, an all-star lineup of 6 delicious recipes. Just order by name or number and we'll do the rest. Whether you're catching a quick lunch or just need a tasty victory, the Subway Series menu is coming in clutch. Subway Series, easy to order, hard to resist. Try it today, only at Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Cayman Islands, clear your calendars because something extraordinary is coming your way. Ignite the Fire, hosted by Christ for All Nations, is roaring into the Lions Center from November 29th to December 3rd. Join us for an epic worship and gospel event, a monumental move of God that will transform lives and reveal destinies. Don't miss this 5-night, once-in-a-generation experience. Be a part of history in the making. Ignite the Fire, Cayman. Mark your date, November 29th to December 3rd at 6:30 p.m. nightly, and get ready for an unforgettable spiritual journey that will set your heart ablaze. Cayman and you will never be the same again.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
It is that time of the year when we at Puritan Cleaners remind our customers of the services we offer on drapes and all household items. Standard prepaid discounts apply. Call us today at 949-7104, Georgetown and Savannah Countryside. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Brand Source Home Gallery 54th Birthday Celebration with store-wide savings. Save on appliances, faucets, tubs, toilets, shower doors, vanities, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. Starting Monday, November 6th, save 30%. Monday, November 13th, the savings will drop to 20%. And Monday, November 20th, they will drop to 10%. It pays to shop early and save more. Brand Source Home Gallery 54th Birthday Celebration savings on now through November 25th. Dorsey Drive Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back and thanks for joining us. And on the phone from the Family Resource Center, another excellent example of the dedication of our public servants, Miss Anne-Marie. Thanks again. Can't say thanks enough.
So much.
All right. You know, it's interesting. I'm gonna have a chance to chat with you, and then at 1:00, Dr. Shari Smith is gonna come into the studio, and we can talk about, education and scholarships and the like. And it just reminds us of how, we are so wonderful, blessed with the talent that we have within the public service, and a lot of it sort of epitomized in ladies like you and Dr. Shari and others. All right. The message that I referenced earlier, before I get into that, what else do you want to share as I look at the clock and realize, you know what, time's are ticking?
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you so much, Sterling, for having me today. And I tell you, our agency and our department on the whole, we have some excellent civil servants right here in this department and in our Cayman Islands government especially. And several of them showed up this morning for the International Men's Day Dress for Our Cause. And I'd like to extend my humble thanks to our title sponsor, our own Ministry of Health and Wellness, as well as another title sponsor, our Ministry of Innovation, Investment, and Social Development. We also receive support from our Gender Affairs, from private sectors as well, Davenport, Water Authority, Burger King, Tortuga and Cost You Less supported us with our sporting events this year. And we're so appreciative. I think it'd be great if, obviously, we had our own Dress for Our Cause today, and that had that photo, but it'd be great to see organizations, whether inside or outside of the government, hosting their own Dress for Our Cause initiatives and sharing their photos with their shirts with us. You can get your shirt from us for $25 at the Family Resource Center by emailing us at frc@gov.ky or giving us a call on 949-0006. If you want to just pop in and pick them up, we will certainly support you and serve you. But yeah, I would love to see people coming out to our financial stress workshop. We have just 2 more left. We'll be in Georgetown next Wednesday at the Red Cross headquarters, and then we're going to be in Bodentown on the final Wednesday of the month. We do have that webinar coming up to learn about suicide risk factors and to safeguard boys and men from that. And then we have, which we're focused on civil servants, we have our 2nd annual State of Men and Boys Forum, which will be held at the Marriott Hotel at 9 a.m. on November 27th. That's a Monday. So if you've received that invite, please go ahead and click yes. We'd love to see you there. It's very important that we keep the conversations going as it pertains to male health and preventing suicide and making sure that boys and men's voices are being heard and that we're making that a priority.
And I really appreciate that, that you share that, because when we talk suicide, sometimes just the word itself and the conversation is extremely difficult. And understanding, as you shared earlier, it's worth repeating, that that stress that many have, but maybe, and I can only speak from my personal perspective, the men in my lives, they experience it in a way that may be unlike how women may feel it for whatever reason. Not all men necessarily feel it that way, but having that stress and having a way to manage it and to understand that you can get equipped as to how you can budget, because sometimes we just take it on but we don't do anything about it to protect ourselves, to provide to provision.
Right. I mean, yeah, definitely men have that pressure to be the provider in their families. And so, yeah, a lot of that financial stress can fall on them. And it certainly can lead to other health problems. And sometimes it's just because, we're not educated necessarily on financial literacy as we're growing up. It's something maybe our parents themselves just try to figure out and navigate themselves. But it's a whole new world right now. And I think gearing yourself up with as much education and skills and tools to support you navigating, the hardships of life right now, it's important. And we're giving those to you for free. So it makes sense to just come out. You never know. And sometimes it's just reinforcing things that you already know and being alongside other people that are struggling as well and on the same journey as you. Sometimes that just feels great to be a part of the community and know that we're all working towards the same goal. But yeah, I really appreciate you having me today, Mr. Sterling. It's such a pleasure to be on Radio Cayman, and it's such a pleasure to see International Men's Day campaign once again be prioritized in our community, and to see the many ways and many initiatives that we're offering to the Cayman Islands community again this year.
No, and it's good to see that continuing partnership, whether in the public service, but as well as the private sector. Is that person joining us by phone, Mr. Lynn? Okay, Ms. Amory, we're going to try to leverage the technology if it's fine, and we'll join another caller in. The indication there's a question, so let's try to welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how are you, man? How are you today?
Yeah, we'll talk about stress, anxiety, and depression. And suicidal thoughts. But I can tell you one thing. The government are doing a good job in helping our young people to resist having those things. They're allowing companies such as CUC to do what they please, and the price of everything else goes up everywhere else that you go to buy something. And then we have the banks giving out 40-year mortgages now to get a house. I mean, if you're 25, you're not finished paying that till you're 65 years old. The government needs to do more to help the poor people of this country. And they can do it. They're giving away concessions to billionaires. We not even got one professional trade school in this country. And talking about the second richest country in the world, the government needs to stop being whatless, Dwayne. And not only that, hurricane shelters. We're supposed to have hurricane shelters around here. The foundation 10 feet off the ground. They send people up in shelters level with the ground, old people and children. They need to stop their worthlessness.
You've been, yeah, definitely. It's time for us to partner and do stuff. Any quick other thoughts you want to share? Okay, that's a call. Thanks for the call. Thank you so much, sir. He's very poignant. So, Miss Anne Marie, we'll come back to you, and thanks for letting us offer that caller. Anyway, but thank you.
If I could respond to it, obviously. Frustrations that we might have, with our government. Certainly, you're allowed to have those, of course. I think I'm speaking to the individual, persons, is that we only have direct control over ourselves and our own actions. And I'm not saying that government, obviously has a lot of power in our lives, but what we have direct influence over as an individual is the choices we make. And I think if we come to the various initiatives that we're offering as the government for free, such as the financial stress workshop, people in the government are experiencing financial stress too, and they may not even understand how to navigate it. And so it's really important that this is available to our community and that we can take back our power and be in control of our finances, of our financial concerns, and figure out whether we're living in poverty or at a moderate level. How do we figure this out, and how can we as individuals support ourselves? But also, it might be a great place to connect with others to figure out how do we make things better. We can certainly expect things from our government, but we diminish our own power as individuals when we say the government has to do it. But we can do things too, and we should, just to make sure that we have a healthier life.
I agree. Accepting ownership and responsibility, being willing to be accountable, but also, engaging and trying to partner and reach out and asking for help, assistance, guidance, direction, and like. Maybe that continued conversation is something that will bring more of us to the fore without, an understanding. Sometimes we may be lost, right?
Absolutely. And I think we can be solution focused and focused on, questioning, okay, what do I have control right now? What can I change myself or with a small group? I think that is where our power lies and where we need to question things on a regular basis too.
Indeed. Well, I certainly appreciate all you shared, and we look forward to being able to partner with you to help with the programming and the publicity. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sterling. I really appreciate it. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Radio Cayman, for all you do for our community too. And you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Likewise. And thanks to you and your colleagues for all you do. And we certainly welcome this continued partnership. With that, we'll pause. Our schedule after we return has Dr. Shari Smith coming in. So looking forward to that discussion. Stay tuned.
Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories of potential tropical cyclone 22, which at 10 a.m. was located some 194 miles southeast of Grand Cayman and about 250 miles southwest of Kingston, Jamaica. The storm is moving towards the northeast at 14 miles per hour with sustained max winds near 35 miles per hour. At this time, the forecast track continues to take the storm over Jamaica by today and over eastern Cuba by tomorrow morning. The Cayman Islands are not likely to be placed under any watch or warning at this time. Residents are urged to monitor the progress of the storm. In international news, nearly 20,000 men have fled Ukraine since the beginning of the war to avoid being drafted, the BBC has discovered. Some have swum dangerous rivers to leave the country. Others have simply walked out under cover of darkness. Another 21,113 men attempted to flee, but were caught by the Ukrainian authorities, Kiev confirmed. After Russia's invasion, most men aged 18 to 60 were banned from leaving, but data obtained by the BBC reveals dozens have made it out daily. Rap artist Sean Diddy Combs has been accused of rape and sex trafficking by a female singer. In a lawsuit seen by the BBC, ex-girlfriend Cassandra Ventura, aka Cassie, said she was trapped for a decade in a cycle of abuse and violence. Mr. Combs denies the allegations, accusing the singer of trying to extort him. Ms. Ventura alleges that the rap producer raped and beat her for over 10 years, starting when she was 19 and he was 37. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The headline news is brought to you by Health Services Authority and the Ministry of Tourism and Transport.
It's one of the best moments of your life when you welcome your baby into the world. The HSA's experienced women's health and maternity team provides the highest quality of care throughout your pregnancy and delivery. As a JCI accredited hospital, we are the leader in maternal care, safely delivering over 700 babies annually. Visit hsa.ky for more information. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands. Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 9th of September 1937. The second of 8 children born to Henry Kitchener Connolly and Olive Connolly, fondly known as Big H to his family and friends. Like so many other Caymanian boys and men, young Hinton went to sea at the tender age of 17, working with national bulk carriers for 5 years. During his tenure at sea, Hinton sailed on many different ships, namely the Ulysses, Old Titan, St. Clair, Petrolor, Petra Sea, and Petra King. He sailed between Portland, Maine to Venezuela. Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your Sister Islands.
Discover all that our Sister Islands have to offer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and for the next half hour-ish or so, the excellent company of Dr. Shari Smith, the manager of the scholarships secretariat. You know, I'm kind of very, very mindful that our government, if you find the one to your left, you find the one to your right. Does that work? Tell you why left-handed people. Yeah. I love the laughter you have. Dr. Shari, how are you?
I am good, sir. How are you?
You know, I say this because it's truthful, but if I wasn't, I say it to speak it into being. I am great. Awesome. You know, what I miss, hopefully I'll have. And what I have, hopefully I won't miss.
There you go. I like that. I think I might have to cooperate that. Borrow it for a day or two, okay?
There you go. And you? How are you?
Trying to catch my breath. Still trying to figure out how we are in November. It's just been going.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I thought T-Balls and them, their song, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls.
Guess. But we are here.
It is. And we're here. And with God's grace, we will be there. Scholarships, it's something that I'm glad that you've come on over the, I don't want to say the years, 'cause that makes it sound, and you shared with us. And I have my view relative to what are the pillars in a society, and I don't say it publicly for any reason other than to champion it, to be, very, very publicly proud of it.
Right.
A strong education system, a strong healthcare system.
Exactly.
And that is so important to us, and to be able to acquire knowledge, to share the knowledge, to have something to say to people, not just to your mama. Look, see, I went to school, I got a paper. But you have, and that knowledge over time, through experience and expertise, you can upskill, equip, empower, all the good things that we want.
Yes, and, contribute to your life, to your community, and, give back and pass on and all those awesome, amazing things.
Right. Well, I commend governments, families, individuals, any entity that is willing to sow good seed, to assist people with education. And it's not only tertiary education, sometimes it's that very formative years, being able to get it, just like healthcare. It should be accessible. It's not always, and it's not a utopia necessarily, but in our instance, we have an educational program, we have scholarships. So we're talking, tell us what we're talking about.
So we are talking about the open application for overseas scholarships, which opened this week on the 15th, and it will be open until January 31st. And it's on our online portal, which is www.moescholarships.gov.ky. And it's for anyone who 17 and up, because we don't have an age limit, right? So if you are a retiree and decide, you know what, I never had an opportunity to go to school and study, and maybe there's an online program that I want to pursue, why not? You're free to apply. But it's for anyone who is looking at starting studies overseas, whether on campus or online, in September 2024 or January 2025. And also, this is a time, if I have out there any of our current students who are completing their studies within this term or the next term and intend to pursue their master's degree, or maybe they're completing their master's and they're moving on to a doctorate, they need to apply for that next degree level during this application period if they are intending to start next year.
And you say whether they're overseas physically or whether online. So if that individual, for whatever reason, is going to be physically in Cayman or the Cayman Islands, because I include Cayman Bragg, I want people to know when I say that, but I know we generally say otherwise. But the program is going to be online, and the facility is elsewhere.
Yes.
That is still part of this.
That is still part of this, yes. So if the institution is located outside of the Cayman Islands, then it's considered online. Again, if there's any questions or concerns, you can always email into scholarships@gov.ky, and we'd happily, respond with your an answer. And to just mention as well, before one of my team members yells at me when I go back, because she said this to me as I was walking out the door, to remind them that if you are studying online, that the scholarship funds are only allocated to cover your tuition and your books, because the understanding or the assumption is that you are here in Cayman.
And you wouldn't normally.
And you wouldn't need, So it would only cover your tuition and your books. But if you're going overseas on campus, then it's,
Well, something you shared, Dr. Shari, that maybe if it's okay, let me repeat it, hopefully for emphasis, but make sure I have it correctly. If the student is going to start up studying next year, September, which is 2024, or the following January, 2025, they got to apply now.
Yes.
The application closes off this coming January 2024.
Yes.
So they may be looking to take them studying a year later in the January 2025.
Yes.
But they better apply now because
they need to apply now. Yeah, because it's a process, obviously, that we go through. I mean, I think last year to give you an idea of the number of applications that we are processing, we had over 300 persons who put in applications.
Can we say people? Just for me.
People?
Yeah.
300 people.
There you go.
Even though I said persons.
I don't want to hear that.
300 people.
There you
go. Who applied. And of course, the scholarships are for Caymanians or persons who have the right to be Caymanian. And so
we had that last time, right?
Yes. That was another conversation I had before I left my office. How many times is Dwayne going to try to get me in trouble?
No more. Wait.
No more.
Okay.
So yes. So the scholarships, see, I've lost my complete train of thought there, right? You know? But yes,
PhD,
we want
or Psych B.
Yeah, that's why my brain's tired.
I know.
We have, opportunity for individuals to pursue their studies. And, again, the process is all online. Again, if they have any questions, they can always email us, right? But it's really important that they get the application in between now and the 31st, because it will close off on the 31st. And, so many people, we have seen so many people still, and it doesn't matter how many times I come on the radio and I say this, Dwayne, I really employ people not to wait until the last minute or wait till you have every single document. The portal actually is designed that you don't have to necessarily complete the sections in order. So you can go on, create your account, start the application process, and then start to, gather and upload those documents that you need. But please don't wait, and remember that, Christmas is around the corner. I don't know when that happened. And so, like, if you need to go and get a copy of birth certificate, or, you need to go get that letter from WORC, again, government does close over the holidays, so you want to, get on it, But all the information is on our website. We've actually, if it's not up there now, by the end of today, there is a brief checklist of the documents that you would need to get from a third party.
Now, because of I enjoyed the levity, but let's be succinct, because you have so much more. Like you said, Christmas is coming, and where did November start, right?
Yeah.
The application process and the eligibility for these scholarships. Who is eligible? I mean, you said 17 and up. There's no age, so we recognize that. But
So first and foremost, it is for for Caymanians, and of course persons who have the right to be Caymanian and in accordance with the law. Obviously, they will need to provide that documentation so that we can verify that. But it's for those individuals, and then again, anyone or students who may be finishing high school, in terms of if they were going to kind of like American system and they're graduating next year, May or June. Students who are finishing up A-levels. It may be students who are attending UCCI and are completing their associates, or have decided that they want to study something else and it's not necessarily offered locally. So for those individuals, and then, again, professionals who are looking at continuing on with their qualifications, and for the individual who may not have had a chance to go off and study, and now find themselves in a space where, they have that flexibility or ability to be able to, do something online, or, go overseas to do something.
Or go overseas. So if that person now at 35 or 65, for argument's sake, or wanted to pursue online or overseas, they get accepted to this program, they can apply. Now, whether they're successful in application, whichever is another thing, but they can apply. There's no age limit, upper age limit.
And what I always say is, put it in your application. Get it submitted, because that's the other thing. We saw a lot of persons who completed the application and they didn't hit the submit button, and and of course
one time
and it goes back to, trying to get everything done last minute and you forget to do it and the clock, time shuts down right at that time. And the reason that we have to shut it down, like I said, like last year we had 330 something people who applied. So once we receive the applications, once they're submitted, then we go through a gamut process, right? So we have to now review every one of those applications to make sure that they have submitted the correct documentation and that they are eligible for the scholarship. And then from there, we look at categorizing persons, arranging interviews. Obviously, then they're presented to the Education Council for review. So all of that takes time, right? So between the February the 1st and May 31st, we are processing and trying to review. So, which is why persons need to apply now. So that allows us the time to be able to do those things so that we can give them an answer and funding for the following.
And as you shared, Doctor, so we're speaking to the manager of the scholarship secretary, Dr. Shari Smith, about overseas scholarships. And as you shared, there's a process. The application is online. You don't need to complete one section. Have all the documentation. You can do maybe a piece of it, then you can go to the next and come back. What sort of things that a person might be in one section and go, I don't have that, but I can go to the next section and start that, and then you come back and upload some documents. So help us with that. So,
the initial application part section, which is, basically your general information, name, birth date, all that kind of stuff. A birth certificate, a copy of birth certificate, which you may or may not have. So that might be something that you need to do. We require a full face photo. That is something, people can just take a selfie with their camera and upload that. And then there's a lot of the information that we ask in regards to the university or the program that the person is planning to pursue. That information can be found on the university's website. So that is not something that you have to, go to an office and register, right? So it's just about, going to the website, making sure that you have, you take a screenshot of whatever information it is. And the other thing is actually proof that you have actually communicated or applied to the university. That is something as well that, you can do that and then readily hand that over. And then, so I think those sections are basically, your personal statement as well, right? Which is broken up into several questions. That is something that you don't have to wait on somebody to complete. I would encourage for individuals who are applying, to take some time though, right? And, think about the questions and what your what your responses are and stuff.
So a person may have applied to, say, a handful of universities. Two questions. One, they're probably going to apply for the same program. They want to study engineering, for instance, or accounting. They're studying, they probably want to apply at University 1 for accounting, University 2 for biology. More likely they'll be applying to multiple universities to study the same thing.
Right.
Hopefully that's the case. But acceptance may not be had right then because that is okay. They don't. Do they need that?
We do not expect persons to have acceptance letters at this point in time, so that's not something they need to wait on. All we require is evidence that they have communicated with the university that they are interested in applying to that university.
Would that be, and two parts to that question, would that be that here's my correspondence to the university, say here's my application, or does it need to be acknowledged receipt from the university that, yep, we're in contact with
usually you? Once you, if you go on the university, there's two versions, right?
Yeah.
So if you're applying to a school in the U.S., on their website, they're usually, you have to request information on a specific program. And when you do that, you get a response email saying, thank you for your interest in that. That would be your indication that you have expressed interest. Because again, individuals would not necessarily be able to fully apply at this point in time. That's something that they would be starting. Yeah. And if you're going to school in the UK, there is a site called UCAS, which is where you apply to various universities in the UK through. So it would be you going on that site and indicating that you are interested, and then UCAS usually sends you back a response.
And I gather from some students that in the US there's something similar for some schools as well.
Yes.
So once the person has that, that's sufficient for now.
Yes. Yes, that's sufficient. Because again, it's we're looking at between now and May, and we have had situations where it comes May and June, and a student has maybe selected a school that wasn't even on their application, but they're still pursuing the same degree program. So things right now are not final, but we need to get the ball rolling, the process starting, because it is a timely process.
And that answer there sort of answers my second question. But let me ask you: the student has made an application, is in a process of communicating with the school. They're satisfied that they got that thing back.
Right.
In March, April, for instance, they got their acceptance. The deadline is January next year, January 31st. How does the student now communicate to the secretariat? Listen, I applied to ABC University to study accounting. Here's my acceptance. It wasn't on the initial school,
right?
But I found it.
Well, before we finalize everything, and they go through the interview process, it's reviewed by council. But before, they are given a final approval, and definitely before they receive any funding, we do a final check. And so the student would then have an opportunity to submit any changes that might have occurred. And that is the information then that we would use to create their bond document that would then tie them to their scholarship. So there's always opportunity to add additional information as it comes along, because we know that the process will be developing over time.
What if, and I don't mean to compound it, but what if the initially, and let's use accounting as the example, applied to these schools for all accounting, but got the application in, satisfied the deadline of January 31st next year. But in the process, for some reason, maybe their former biology teacher just treat them and say, you know what, you should really study biology.
Right.
And here's a great school in the UK or wherever.
Yeah.
And the person applies, but the application was for accounting. Now they can study biology.
So the most important thing to do, well, to be brutally honest, my response to that individual would be defer for a year. Make sure you know what it is you want to do, right? Get some experience in accounting, get some experience in biology, and then go, because it's expensive. The government is we've all been hearing, the various difficulties of the government putting together the budget, and finding funds, and scholarships does take up a significant amount of cost, right? And we are thankful and grateful that the government has put such a priority, especially our new premier, in regards to the importance of education, right? So it's really important that the student is sure and confident that this is what I want to study, because we're investing financially and in other ways in you, right? But if they did, and for whatever reason, again, what we try to do in the interview process is we try to have students interviewed by professionals, local professionals in the field, so they can again understand the pathway and what it is that they're getting into. So if a student filled out an application for accounting, and after they've submitted everything, decide they want to do biology, easiest thing would be to just email scholarships and say, hey, my name is such and such. I put in an application, but I want to change. And then we would then contact them and then kind of walk through what they would need to be doing, right? But the key thing is that making that choice before the interview process. And sometimes we are told that when we contact them and say, hey, we're arranging for an interview, and the student will say, yeah, I've changed my mind. I want to do something else, which is fine. We just need to then kind of rejig things.
All right. And all you're saying, what I'm hearing specifically, is get the ball rolling, get started.
Get it in so it can be considered, because, if you don't put it in, then, your chances of
you can
going
get
forward. Yeah.
Right. And the deadline for many of us, it may seem like a long time away, but with all that going on, it does.
2 blinks and it's going to be there. Yeah.
And there are things that as you shared, documentation you might need.
Yes.
But there are things that can come after, like that acceptance letter.
Right.
What else can come after?
We have moved. The the medical component towards the final processing stage of the application. The surety information is also left until the final stage. Now, before we used to ask for parents' job letter up front, but that has been taken out. So really the only things that we're asking for right now is, birth certificate, right to be Caymanian, their school transcripts. Again, we know that students may not necessarily have completed all of their studies, but they should be able to provide a transcript at least up until September this year. So things like that we would be expecting to see in this application.
And I want to share from everyone I've spoken to, and even from personal, you and your team have been phenomenal. I mean, just corresponding, answering what probably is, senseless questions sometimes, but for that person, you're like, there's a sense of urgency. Your website is very helpful. The portal is navigable.
Yeah. Well, I am blessed to work with an amazing group of ladies and one young gentleman who is our IT guru who came on thinking that he was going to be an intern and then be able to leave with us, but we somehow kind of rope tied him still. But yes, the ladies are amazing. They're very helpful. Some of them are mothers themselves who have had children go off to university, so they know what the process is personally as well. And it is currently we are a team of 7. So if you think we're 7 people who are managing over 1,000+ individuals on scholarship, right? So please be kind when you are calling and talking to my team, because we're juggling a lot, and we do have the students at heart, and trying to do our best.
And you do, and I'm glad you shared that, because I think sometimes we mostly, and it's understandable, we're concerned about our case or cause, but we're one of 1,000, for instance, and you're one dealing with 1,000.
Yes.
For us,
Yeah. So I always beg for, forgiveness when people see, and we have a running joke in the office that we can't go to the grocery store at normal hours because we get inundated with questions. It doesn't matter what time I go, everybody knows my face. But I can't remember all the names and the faces. So, I do apologize if I just kind of give a blank stare, but, we're here to answer questions if you have questions. And it's better to ask than not to, and then end up in a situation where you've missed the opportunity.
Well, we're going to hopefully not impose on you, but between now and the 31st of January, in person, whether you or any other team member, or by phone, we are here to help.
Awesome.
I commend, public service, and I certainly commend the government for being so willing to find funds. I'm prayerful that as students and as parents that we will indeed make them good use of it.
Yes.
Education is, just incredible.
Yes.
Wow. Any final thoughts, Dr. Shari, that you may want to say?
Well, first, thank you for accommodating.
Not being so bad today?
No, not being so bad today, for accommodating me. And again, just to our listeners out there, to reminding you that the application process for overseas scholarships is open on the Ministry of Education's website portal, and please put it in. It's between now and January 31st is your time to put that application in. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us or give us a call. And we have lots of information on the portal website, FAQs, the criteria that is required depending on what school you're coming to. So lots of information. Just take time and please read, because I find that people, I think technology has completely, or is trying to completely wipe out the necessity to read. So please read. A lot of the questions that you have are probably being answered within those FAQs. Up to yesterday, I was adding more information to them. So look forward to seeing the applications come in.
I think you're right, and maybe the closing thought to parents in particular, the need for the biliterate brain now is more evident than ever, and technology will scan through something on the screen Whereas on print, we might actually look at everything.
Yeah.
Or recall might be better, but that's for discussion. I think I've been talking too much today. You might think I'm the next premier or something. No. Dr. Shari, thank you very much, Mom. And I'm looking forward to having you and your team back on. And
that's good.
Have a wonderful, safe, and enjoyable weekend.
You too. Thank you.
All right, to our listeners, please join us after. Stephanie Dos Santos is going to be a scheduled guest, 2 o'clock. Luigi Moxham comes in as we close it out on culture. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new boneless hot sub. Say what? The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration with store-wide savings. Save on appliances, faucets, tubs, toilets, shower doors, vanities, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. Starting Monday, November 6th, save 30%. Monday, November 13th, the savings will drop to 20%. And Monday, November 20th, they will drop to 10%. It pays to shop early and save more. Brand Source Home Gallery 54th birthday celebration savings on now through November 25th. Dorsey Drive Industrial Park. Call 623-5000 for more details.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You don't sound too good there, Bobo.
Yeah, you know how it is. With the kids back in school, every other week they coming out with something, and then I catch it.
Sound like it gets you. But for real, brother, flu season is here and COVID is still around. You gotta stock up on things like medicine, vitamins, and minerals for you and the kids. You know what they say, prevention is better than cure.
At ValueMed, our pharmacists can help manage flu symptoms and provide guidance on vitamins and minerals to best support you and your family's overall health. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Town, or WhatsApp your questions and prescription refills to ValueMed on Walkers Road at 926-1662 or WhatsApp ValueMed in Town at 916-5511. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
welcome, and thank you very much for joining us. And it's just, going to be quickly, perhaps too quick. Wonderful conversation, unlike the past where we have the afternoon. Today we've only got, less than a half an hour. Excellent company of Ms. Stephanie Dos Santos. Good to see you again. Welcome back to the studio.
Thank you.
It's going to be fun, isn't it, right?
Yes, as always.
As always. Well, now I know, Ms. Dilbert, thank you for coming along, joining us.
My pleasure.
And I always say to someone today when, what is it that I'm going to be discussing? I say, well, this one. I say, well, there'll be some, exploration and the like in this segment. So
definitely.
Give us a teaser, Miss Stephanie. I like to recognize how important it is for us to be able to have meaningful conversations, sometimes in the public domain, that allow people to recognize that there are many questions that go, unanswered because they're unasked.
Exactly. There's fear already in the first place in asking those questions. And lots of shame around the topic as well.
Yeah. And I think as we, sort of bring down walls, we start to open up meaningful communication. And we recognize that the question that we've had has been the same question that many others, even the person we fellowship with often.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
So I want to start this, how I met Stephanie. So Stephanie is an emotional health coach, and her profession most people that work in this profession kind of seem to be under radar. And I actually got recommended to go and see Stephanie when I was having some challenges in communicating within the relationship. And actually wasn't my partner, funny enough, was his family before our wedding. So everyone gets a little stressful time. And I had 5 sessions with Stephanie one-on-one, and this is what she's been doing most of her life. And it truly transformed how I perceive the relationships and how I communicate to others. And it kind of like opened up a new avenue of understanding and self-belief and self-confidence communicating to others. So I've gone through this process, and I truly treasure this information, this new knowledge. I would say, changed my life. And then when Stephanie went on the podcast recently talking about the same subject, which is conscious sexuality, she realized that there are so many people who are giving the same feedback and asking the same questions, and who interact with her and truly go for this transformation, that they change their life for the better. I encourage her to say, well, this is a topic that truly needs to be discussed in the public, and we need to allow other people to get this information, get access to this information. And I think it's just the best thing about what she does, like we discussed before the show, is just getting the feedback from people, way to truly touch and change people's lives. That's invaluable for any person. So yes.
I really understand that communication is crucial. It needs to be timely, it needs to be accurate. It doesn't matter if it's an academic setting, if it's an agency that wants to get a message out on behalf of a client. Sometimes a word or the way it's presented can be confusing, but even amongst friends or amongst partners. But conscious sexuality, it's almost taboo to even speak to it, especially publicly. So, Ms. Stephanie.
Yes, that is true. And because it's taboo, because we don't talk about it, we fail understanding one of the most powerful energy available in the human body. So now what we see, it's people using sex as a coping strategy. It's true in a sense that we crave for deep and meaningful connection, and we think that by having sometimes casual sex, because on those moments we really feel deeply connected, right? But because there's no solid emotional bond before, it leaves us really feeling more abundant and craving more of that type of connection. And then off you go, trapped into survival, keeping on ongoing, changing partners after partners, and still deep down feeling unhappy, knowing that there is more to sex than what we've been taught. So I really wanted to help people understand first what that energy really is about and how to really use that to create. Because we know, in religious book, we talk about creative powers that we have as humans. We know that. But what does it mean on practical terms? Because if we use the most powerful energy available to the human body, which is sexual energy, and we don't understand it, we trap ourselves in survival. We never get to create.
And I think, too, we get caught into things, and there are certain conversations in certain places with certain people that you don't have. How many of us have had, older folks say to us, well, we don't discuss politics or religion or personal finances. Why not? And how does that younger person learn about financial mismanagement or financial, accountability? How do you understand the political landscape? If those simple things can be discussed, how do we understand, to be conscious, about our sexuality?
Well, everybody does it. Everybody practices it. So you just simply need to be curious. If you feel like deep down you know it's meant to, you want more from it, well, it's because there is something more to it.
And
I'm going to bring as well, with ancient knowledge as well. Okay. So I think I really want it to be quite educational as well.
Yes.
By bringing what our ancestors knew about it.
And what's interesting as I listen to you and being able to have discussions with people who can inform you about the things, the personal trainer who is skilled, she can tell you how to do the exercise properly so that not only you avoid an injury, but you get the most benefit, as is the financial planner. But how many times do we speak to people who can guide us properly? And we look, as you shared, to try to fill certain things in that emptiness. But that connection.
Yeah,
right?
and what's I'd like to mention, the emotional health is extremely relevant, and I would say even most important topic these days, because everything else in your body depends on your emotional well-being. Mm-hmm. So even your physical body reacts to your emotions and how you feel about yourself in certain topics. So it's kind of like you set yourself for failure or success depending on your emotional state.
And our lives change, because of the pressures of maybe our careers or families, perhaps our children, the newborn to the one who is now going to, be leaving the house to do other things. How does that affect us and our partners and our health and our physical and mental? Right, Ms. Stephanie?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's why I communicate. It's, everybody thinks that because they hear the sound of their voice that they can communicate. Mm-hmm. But we are at a stage where we need to bring the communication to another level. Mm-hmm. It's really opening up to vulnerability, saying those things that sometimes when we feel like, why did it do that? Like, oh, it's so upsetting. But then we say like, that's okay. I'm not going to say anything, right? And this is those things that every time we park how we feel aside, it festers inside. And that's why eventually in communication or when you have an argument with your partner, it's very often it's the man that's going to say, why are you bringing all those stuff from the past? Well, the truth is there was no resolution. Yeah. There was no resolution. You didn't go into depth in resolving the emotional issue there. Mm-hmm. That's why it keeps coming up.
It's interesting you share that, because I think we expect, and probably it is our practice and experience, that it is the female partner who may revert to these things. You're dredging up the past. But I wonder if it's something to do with the character of the individual, because there are some men, when in the absence of resolution and understanding and clarity and that sort of thing, that thing has festered. 30 years ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, mm-hmm. There's no resolution. So how do we get to a space of acknowledging this thing, seeking a solution so there's a resolution, so there is some sort of either reconciliation or comprehension? Are those things even possible?
Yeah, so first you will be able to notice that when you get triggered, you go through a certain behavior, mm-hmm. right? You're going to feel quite heated inside. So it's going to be first to recognize there's the trigger. Okay, mm-hmm. If I keep giving into it, we're going to have the same argument that's going to have the same outcome. Mm-hmm. So it's to first being able to some degree self-regulate so you can approach the issue differently in a more calming space. Okay, so that's the first step.
So self-regulate.
Absolutely.
Self-control, being able to.
Well, yeah, this is something we're going to talk about, tonight as well with men, like how for men to feel really healthy and feel confident, it's really about mastering self-control. And for women, that's going to be about having a strong sense of self. And we're going to go through boundaries.
So tell us a little bit more. I mean, this tonight, how do we be a part of it? Can we ask more? Because, I mean, there may be some people who might want to benefit.
Yes. So Conscious Sexuality event is happening tonight at 7 p.m. at the Ritz-Carlton from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I wanted to precise as well that it's not for women only. We actually have already a Canadian doctor. We've got personal trainers, and they're men. So it's really beautiful to see as well, because those men, I mean, I know them personally. One is a personal trainer, is my personal trainer. And so I can see how, knowing me personally helped him bridge the fear of coming to the event. So for those who are listening or are hesitating, there are other men, that are coming tonight. So you can make the step. You're not going to be alone.
And that's the vulnerability I think that men must feel, and men in particular. Mm-hmm. We don't share our feelings. We don't talk. We don't cry. Or when we do, it's silent. And yet if we open up, I wonder how receptive our partners will be, and are they as receptive as that other person is in your life, because they see that side of you, that vulnerable, sensitive, caring, compassionate side.
Well, if one man cry, I mean, if he's opening to vulnerability, it's like, I mean, he's probably feeling quite confident in the woman that he's confiding into, right? So it's likely to be a woman that's going to be into a feminine. And if you're fully embodied into your feminine energy, it's all about nurturing, loving, and caring. So you will, such a woman will really help the man also unpacking and finding resolution as well in
I think that builds a stronger bond too.
Absolutely. This is what women want.
Yeah. But I wonder though, as you shared, I'm wondering now, here is this man speaking to this woman. If it's his partner, that was great because they're building that bond. If it's somebody else, it builds a strong bond potentially, what that friendship, for want of a better word, could result in. But second, I wonder how she will proceed later on. Does she see him as that strong individual as he was initially, or does she see him as this individual now who has this level of sensitivity?
Okay, so for the men, like Canadian men that I spoke to, there's something very beautiful happening, because once they make the first step of opening up in vulnerability, they literally transform. They are way more connected to themselves. They have increased intuition. Yeah. They also become more in charge of their sexual urges. And that really fuels their body with self-confidence, with more energy, higher testosterone levels, and so on. So I think it's, I'm watching, especially one that I'm thinking of, is literally blossoming. Is more open, even physically. His chest, he has less problem breathing. His chest is more open. It's beautiful.
It's amazing you share that, because when we experience that transformation and we appreciate the openness, we have to some extent create, I guess today's parlance is a safe space, but we got to be willing to own it, and we got to step into it, and not unlike the saying, to thine own self be true, engage and embrace, right?
Yes, absolutely. I think it works. Stephanie, maybe we're talking about individuals, people, but it also for couples to really having the safe environment where they can both share, and then obviously deepens relationships. And as a married woman, I know that most people in the marriage, you continue to grow even when you are with the same partner, and it's actually growth is the key to a successful relationship. And I'm very lucky because my husband is Cayman, and he's very in touch with his own sensitivity and vulnerability, and it truly allows for us to lead a fulfilled married life. Yeah. And I think this is the key. And for those people who haven't met the other half, I think is when you go through a selective process, making friends or encounters, if you truly step up and show your vulnerable side and you truly open up, you're more likely to be matched with the right person. So I believe it's truly the key.
Yes.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then go
yeah, also to add to what Diana just said, like as we grow and consistently evolve, the way we approach sexuality should evolve as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very different when you're a teenager, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So this is also, you know, with what we get bombarded with, it seems to really be really mainstream. Just one thing that we see, there's nothing that is teaching us how to approach sexuality differently.
Yeah. But I think as you shared, it would be almost ideal for the couples to come together and be part of the, I call it the workshop. Should we call it that? The
workshop or presentation or conference. Yeah. So it will be more like a live podcast where people can definitely choose to interact, ask questions, or just simply watch.
Yeah. And this is important. I think as we go through lives and the different stages, and I'm thinking to the couples together, married or otherwise, whether they have children, they have careers, there's the demand of society, their expectations of other family and friends, which that can put a lot of pressure sometimes on those two people to interact, even when they want to interact.
Is that true?
I think it's setting priorities.
Exactly.
I have 2 children. I have 2 little children who are 5 and 2, and family commitments here. But I think everyone would agree that you have to set time aside for anything you want to improve or pursue in life. So we always said that once, the best actual advice I received from my mother-in-law was that you have to go on a date night at least once a week.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get a babysitter, whatever it takes. You have to connect to your partner. You have to check in and have the special time. And that really changes. And when Stephanie mentioned at the conference, there's going to be a lot of science that comes with this discussion. You know, we're not just picking things from thin air. Is actually very scientific. And a big part that I learned about the feminine and masculine energy that we're going to be talking this evening is how the men's energy is linear and women's is kind of like goes in the circular spiral. And the most exciting thing, if a man can truly create a safe space and environment for women to truly blossom and flourish within her own self, she's ever changing. So that's a benefit for a man, because realistically, you will never get bored because you have ever-changing woman if she's truly embodied in her feminine power. So this is how relationship will be so exciting. And another reference I'd like to make from a wedding that I attended this weekend, where the father of the bride said, well, I've been married to a mother for 20, 30 years, and every year or every 10 years or so, like our love evolved and changed, and this is what kept our marriage going, and he wished the same for her.
Yeah,
so that was so beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
We got a quick little break to take. When we come back, maybe remind us and let us know whether we can be a part of it. If there's still space and time. All right, join us right after the break.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Britke. Good like that.
The Black Friday sale is now on at Reflections Clothing Store. Save 60% on all Adidas apparel. Find store-wide savings up to 60% off on tees, caps, shoes, and clothing. Selected Nike, Puma, and US Polo is 50% off. US Polo handbags. Buy one, get one at 50% off. Save on ladies' fashion jeans, one pair of jeans for $25 or two for $45. Includes select Levi's, 100% cotton tees by Johnny Cotton, two for $34.99. Spend $25 and be entered to win up to $500 in gift certificate. Shop the Black Friday sale at Reflections Clothing Store. On now.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, thanks very much. And even though we have just a closing moment, I don't think there's ever sufficient time, and perhaps publicly, Ms. Stephanie, to you and both of you to come back on at some point. Conscious sexuality. These public discussions are important because, especially in relationships, we're confused about many things. We're uncertain. We're not quite sure, and we make missteps, and that probably leads to unhappiness and dissolution and all sorts of things that our lives go unfulfilled. So, conscious sexuality tonight, 7 o'clock?
7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Ritz-Carlton.
Okay.
Yes.
And if people, I know your conferences are heavily subscribed and they're rarely in a space, so maybe if people are fortunate enough, there might be an opportunity.
Yeah, so we have tickets still available for sale on Eventpro, and it's called Conscious Sexuality. You also can follow Stephanie on Instagram and a page called DNA Introspection. And actually, following up to the event, she highlighted quite a few questions that we'll be talking about. So if there's anyone who still uncertain, unsure, or would like to find out more information, so I would suggest going to Instagram to DNA Introspection and then go to Eventpro to purchase a ticket for this evening at the Ritz-Carlton.
I appreciate you taking a minute to come share with us, and I'm hopeful as people listening that for me, this is a part about communication. This is a part about trying to draw closer to your partner and understanding, especially as life evolves and we go through changes, their expectations, and something that, as we both were sharing, that maybe at some point we can explore the amount of imagery that is in society, the things that we may not consciously see, but somehow we're seeing it and don't realize its impact.
Unconscious programming, yes, we're going to talk about that tonight as well.
So going to be a lot of good things being on offer.
Exciting.
Yeah,
Are you coming?
We don't think hour and a half is going to be enough.
I'm just thinking.
But it's going to be a little social get-together after the event, so people can still ask Stephanie questions if they feel she hasn't had the time to answer all of them within an hour and a half, so probably we'll be there until 9 o'clock. And they also welcome to contact Stephanie directly through DNA Introspection on Instagram. It has her contact details if they prefer to work with her individually, because she also offers emotional health coaching on one-on-one.
So key. Well, I'm hoping that we may have continued conversations publicly as time unfolds, and then tonight those who attend will come away much more fulfilled.
Thank you so much for having us. And then the last thing I wanted to add, that this is not just for couples, but it's also for singles seeking and all the people that are just simply in need to have more fulfilling relationship with themselves, people around them, and their partners. So everyone is welcome.
Yeah, gonna equip them with the right tools and
knowledge.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're missing until you actually find it.
Exactly.
Thanks very much, Ms. Stephanie.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
Well, looking forward to another engagement. But tonight, hopefully, people will appreciate how important it is to be conscious and to recognize that these discussions are necessary, especially as adults and we mature through life. All right.
Absolutely.
See you
Thank you so
soon.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Join us after the break. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins. As of 10 a.m., the potential Tropical Cyclone 22 update states the official forecast track anticipates the system to be about 194 miles to the southeast of Grand Cayman around 9 a.m. and pass 148 miles to the southeast of Cayman Brac around 1 p.m. today. By tonight, the storm should push away from the northwest coast of Jamaica and move over eastern Cuba Saturday morning. This system may support some showers across the Cayman area, but a general decrease in cloudiness and showers are expected from tonight as the system moves into the Atlantic by Saturday. In international news, Israel has confirmed that it has found the body of a second woman who was taken into Gaza by Hamas in its attack last month. The Israel Defense Forces said the 19-year-old was discovered in a building next to the Al-Shifa hospital. On Thursday, the IDF said they found the body of a 65-year-old hostage in a house near the same hospital. Troops are continuing their search in and around Gaza's biggest hospital. The picture of Xi Jinping and Joe Biden on a stroll in a Californian country estate continues headlining Chinese media a day after what Beijing has hailed as a historic summit. People's Daily, the biggest state-run newspaper, called the 4-hour bilateral a new starting point for China-U.S. relations. On social media, many Chinese are calling for a win-win relationship. The highly anticipated meeting came after U.S.-China relations had hit a particularly low point. The spy balloon row in February further derailed ties that had already been strained by China's claims over Taiwan and the South China Sea and the U.S. export bans on advanced tech. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Zollins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles until December 31st, 2023. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Jingle all the way into the season of incredible savings and wish granting with Digicel. This Christmas, get 25% off your Prime Bundle plan or postpaid bill for the next 6 months. With plans featuring social data, entertainment data, and more, Digicel keeps you connected and entertained all season long. But here's the real magic. Digicel could make your Christmas wish come true. Win a prize of your choice, from getting your rent paid to a new laptop or even a brand new car. Visit a Digicel store today, where dreams come true this holiday season.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255. Let your voice be heard. And now, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. It's been a fantastic Friday as I adjust my chair and draw close to Mr. Luigi Moxham and the guardian, the champion of the culture. How are you, my friend?
Blessed and stressed. I'm good.
Blessed and stressed.
I'm good. Give thanks.
Yeah, well, we must always, man.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I in many ways, because each of our succeeding segments have been spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to you, Stephanie Dos Santos was one of the two guests, and we're talking specifically about the conscious sexuality, and maybe people listening can make them a bit uncomfortable, but increasingly we find ourselves going through life and we change, and if we don't have discussions that are meaningful, that are engaging, that are informative, we labor in vain. I can relate that to our culture, the need now more than ever to promote it, to respect it, to embrace it, to celebrate it.
Yeah.
So the guardian
and
is
to
here.
appreciate and respect transparency of the conversation, as much as it could be uncomfortable, or there's no pride in the truth.
It is an interesting time to be alive, I think, in the world, and it's more than ever the need for people to stand in the gap, to champion things, to recognize the need to promote and protect things, but also to present them in a way that informs and engages, that involves, that includes, that ensures as a people we can embrace, and that which we can, to know that we have the strength to endure. And in the absence, I think, of decency and good, you're going to find, the opposite.
Yeah. And you also, in all of those conversations are relevant to the fact that, no matter how you feel, you're not alone. There's someone else that can relate to you, what maybe not exactly what you're going through, but, it's important to be able to vent comfortably and communicate comfortably. So with regards to the conversation, so yeah, man.
And it's so surprising sometimes when, someone has asked a question. There's a public gathering, maybe it's the PTA, for instance, and there's a question or comment, and you go, wow, I was thinking the same thing. Now, not exactly worded, but even better sometimes. If you don't step up and ask, sometimes this thing will just fester and be unaddressed. So
or do you can also initiate the conversation by just doing something and being an example. For it.
That's what you do, man. And at the Cabana, what have you got going on, man?
Well, first and foremost, sir, thank you so much for allowing me the time to come in and share.
Of course, man. It's a pleasure.
What we got going on. If you don't mind, a couple of things I just want to address first. And foremost is I want to give a big shout out to the young queen, Miss Anna Rose Moxham, my mom, on her birthday today. So, Miss Anna Rose, if you're listening, happy birthday, mama.
Thank you for doing that, right?
Yeah, man.
I must, as I looked at you when you walked in, you just sat down, and I'm looking and going, I had the pleasure of working with her. You're looking like, you can see your mom in you, man.
Yeah, keeps me young, man.
Yeah, man.
So she's so years young. Happy birthday to her.
Shouldn't you sing happy birthday to her?
Yeah, we're doing that later today. There's a lot going on. The other thing is I wanna say, as I take this opportunity, because I think it's important for people to pause and give thanks and gratitude and respect when it's due. So I would like to say thank you to the Honorable Wayne Patton for his service as Premier, and Mr. Bernie Bush, and all of our elected members, because it is not easy. And in addition to that is, regardless of people's opinion of what's going on and how things play out, we have to remember to give respect where respect is due, and with a sense of gratitude. We elected these people, and they deserve some respect, without any personal, attacks or anything like that. So I just want to take this time to say thank you to everybody with their intentions, their efforts to, govern this beautiful country.
Yeah, man. And that reminds us of the importance of working together. We will have differences, but let them strengthen us, not divide us. And let's appreciate that there's an expectation. And as we manage that, maybe we can contribute as opposed to always taking. It's just working together, man.
Yep. And that being said, we are doing what we can to continue to respect and celebrate our culture, our heritage, and to be ambassadors of that for the next generation. And not about trying to convince our peers as to whether or not we value our culture and our heritage and whether or not it should be celebrated. We know better, and if we don't aren't proactive or we don't care at this stage, you've made that choice. You've had the opportunity and blessings to grow up with that influence and that experience. So we owe that to the next generation to continue to do that. And that's what we're trying to do with this initiative, with the Celebrating the Cayman Heritage Days. And again, to complement the 40-something years tradition of what Pirate Week is doing, but also keep in mind of the many people who are like yourself, one way or the other, Radio Cayman. There's a lot of people throughout the thread of this community, all 3 islands, that been doing this in the sense of, in a space of some capacity, their livelihood, or just as a means, a necessity to celebrate and represent our culture and our heritage. And remember, a lot of things that we look at as art and don't value right now, these are coming from creative innovations that were a necessity. They had to make the baskets to go in the land. They had to, so many different things that we attribute to, that's cool and cultural, but they really were made, and as well and beautiful as they were made out of necessity. As a way to live and contribute to where we are right now.
Well, it's interesting you referenced that. I mean, as you talked, I'm thinking of the catboat, which is everything. But importantly, though, I think unfortunately, there is this lack of respect. We speak to our forefathers and we say, the subsistence living. Yet today, their practices are what we're trying to employ. They did it in many instances out of necessity. They did it and it was truly sustainable. We throw that word around today and it has little or no meaning. But they waste not, want not. They took the coconut and they had a use for every part of it. They respected and value what they had. Or we say, it was out of necessity, it was subsistence. No, there was a healthy respect. Maybe we are not being respectful of their practices. We're not being appreciative of their service and sacrifice. But perhaps, or we're so flippant in our approach as we try to embrace and look to other things that we ignore what is before us. I mean, your endeavors to promote our culture and our heritage it should not go unnoticed, unrecognized. But then the rest of us need to go alongside.
So many
well.
people do, but truth be told, people complain about it and they're quick to do that. But at the same time, it is on us. We can't blame no minister, can't blame no civil servant. If it is us in our community who has contributed to having these things become out of sight, out of mind. And the next thing is like you go to Little Cayman, you wonder why ain't I been here so long? And next thing you know, it's 3, 4, 5 years since you've been there. So going to Pedro, so many things that we take for granted as an experience and tangible reference to our culture and heritage, that we take it for granted of how important it is to preserve, because we may not have the daily use of it or visibility of it. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, or nor should it not continue to be respected and preserved and valued and invested in.
I think too, as I listen to you, we probably need to be careful that whether it's a conscious, deliberate effort or whether it is something that is happening inadvertently because of the passage of time. We can't look to people and make allegations, whether they are, legit or not, if we are not consciously engaged. The foods that we eat, the activities that we used to do, there is something that I think we can speak to after this break. But I want you to share with us, because it's always fun, to be in the fold.
Yeah.
All right.
No problem.
Well, Luigi sits next to me. We find Mario somewhere.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Join us for the final week of Pirates Week activities this Thursday through Sunday. Listen to the sounds of freedom with CUC's Pan City Steel Pan Competition on November 16th. Gather your family to enjoy the fireworks, indulge in the Caymanian food, and dance the night away between Cardinal Avenue and Albert Panton Street. Say hi to our local treasures at the Cayman Turtle Center for our Family Fun Day to close the year's festivities at 10 a.m. Visit Pirates Fest Cayman online or on social for more information. Sponsored by Cayman Airways, Pepsi, and CUC.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
It's party season, which means it's pizza boat season. Aren't you tired of the same boring pizza? It's time to party. All aboard the pizza boat. Birthday parties, holiday functions, office luncheons, game nights. Whatever your occasion, bring the fun with Pizza Boat, a Cayman twist to pizza. Bringing fusion ingredients from all over the globe to give you locally inspired fresh pizzas. All day, every day. What's more, now you can enjoy a boat-shaped pizza with toppings of your choice. It's Pizza Boat in Queens Court on West Bay Road. Open daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Fridays until 3 a.m. Pickup or delivery 949-0000 or get it online at www.pizzaboat.ky. Pizza Boat. Experience the ultimate pizza voyage.
105.3 Breeze FM live. Now it's an Man Bushman representing for 105.3 Breeze FM.
Hey, this is DJ Lynn. Join me Sundays from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 for Beach and Reggae Sundays. Whether you're out in a boat, in the backyard, or simply on the beach catching some sun, it's the perfect way to unwind for the weekend as the sun sets on our beautiful Caribbean Sea. Join us this Sunday from 2 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 Beach and Reggae Sundays. Brought to you by Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your non-stop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now Barbados. And Healthcare Pharmacy, located in Governor Square and Grand Harbor. Open Sundays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, welcome back. And as we speak to, as we call him, the guardian of the culture himself, one of the many guardians. One of the many, man, Mr. Luigi Mark. So, but it's important. It's nice to be able to travel to other places, whether have some affinity for the place through family, friends, business, or otherwise, or whether it's just that almost inherent sense of exploration that is within us. But we need to preserve. We need to promote, and we need to participate.
That's part of the heritage our descendants, whether you like it or accept it or not, whether it be pirates or from or influences from Central America, Jamaica, Cuba, all over the Caribbean. However this country was found is a part of the heritage that you can't change. You have to accept it and respect it. However, now over a period of time, we've established our own traditions in this beautiful melting pot. But we certainly have an identity that we need to do a better job of communicating so that our younger generation can identify the difference between a silver touch and a bull touch. You know, when they put it in the books, it's supposed to be a silver touch national tree, but it's a bull touch. Like, you gotta know the difference. I don't claim to be, know all about it, but I really appreciate learning about it and the difference.
But information needs to be accurate.
Yeah.
Right. You can't present something especially to children, and in the absence of them not knowing differently, they're going to believe that thing.
Yeah.
You show a child, the letter A, and you tell it it's a rabbit, it probably might until otherwise.
That's literally how you learn language and behavior.
Yeah.
So if your children or children around us in this generation are overhearing in every capacity, from the conversations with your parents in the grocery store to the back seat of you on the phone or at school, and then you have people joining the conversation and agreeing that we don't have no culture or identity, of course they're going to believe that.
You repeat it over and often, right?
How often, and then where are we going to be in 5-10 years?
And if you decimate what you have, if you allow it to be discarded and discredited, devalued, you have to question what it will be left.
Here's the thing you're talking about. That it's a very fragile time frame we're in right now. All of these amazing, blessed, beautiful people that we all cherish in our community, that are coming out to these heritage days and going to the schools and teaching these kids how to do these crafts. A lot of them not going to be here in the next 3 to 5 years. And then we're going to wish we could pay them to come and teach our kids that. Right now, they go to the school and it's not but I can't find $25 to pay them.
You don't miss
you know what I mean?
the rain, right? Until there's a drought.
I'm nervous about it.
Yeah, man. But there's some stuff that you're doing and you're sharing with us. So maybe there's the hope. There's the opportunity.
That's the idea in simply inspiration, where I've always, just from day one, I'm proactive with what I'm inspired by to do, and I pay attention to where that inspiration, that voice is coming from. If that's coming from the Holy Spirit, then I have no fear in moving forward with it, regardless of anyone's opinion. But I do know that it's important to collectively, as a community, have a voice that is strong and confident that this is us, this is who we are, and identify what these things are, so that our next generation can do that. And what we're trying to do with this initiative is couple things, is to invite everyone to a central location since the Heritage Council to create a heritage hub, a creative expo, so to speak, where you may not know about the National Archive, you may not know about all the many things that the Cultural Foundation is doing, you may not know about what all these people at the craft markets and who cooking what, and they may not have a restaurant or attraction, or they may not be out of sight. They may be out of sight, but they shouldn't be out of your mind when it comes to being able to identify it. And I just simply wanted to provide a platform with my little 3 cents and venue to invite. I'm so excited to invite these stalwarts of our heritage and our community and culture that I pray will be with us for a lot longer, to be examples and to exhibit, from gigs to thatch rope making to every single aspect, to just educating and having a conversation and learning, participating, and making a little bracelet with Miss Rosemary, listening to what D.L. Ebanks got to say, talk to Mr. Jerry Lou Rankin, Mr. Billy Ebanks, Miss Marlene. These people are treasures. They are treasures, and we are going to miss them when they're gone, because call someone else. Call someone else to try and do what they're doing right now. It's hard.
Who's going to fill their shoes? Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And so how dare we not think that it's okay to not invest? And again, I'm not taking this again, nobody, but we have to invest in that and educate people. You mentioned Catboat earlier, the Catboat Club. Mr. Jarris, Paul and those guys over there. I'm so excited. I saw Catboat pull up in front of Cabana these last couple of days. I almost jumped over the dock when Romel was there. He trying to give me a ride. So I was like, I can't go in. and I can't wait. I want to do it. I see weather coming in, but hopefully it'll clear up tomorrow. Yeah. But they're bringing a Catboat to display in the parking lot, so that, think about it, a 4-year-old, a 14-year-old sees a Catboat for the first time, and someone gets to tell them about the heritage and the history of that. That becomes the coolest thing for them. And when they get older, in my age, they have so much reference and appreciation for that, because they'll understand the context a lot more. That's really as simple as it gets, as an example.
So this is all taking place tomorrow at Cabana?
This is at Cabana tomorrow from 10 a.m. We have, I got time to break it down?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man, of course.
We got This is fun. We're gonna have a seafarers breakfast. That's what I'm calling it, seafarers breakfast, just to acknowledge and respect the seafarers. Everyone from the Seafarers Association and the whole community is invited. We have a special menu, it's an a la carte menu, to enjoy that. And we have D.L. Ebanks gonna blow the conch horn, the conch shell horn, and I have Miss Mia, a young lady. She's gonna sing the national anthem. And I want it to be a sing-along. I want everybody to sing it. I want people in the road, stop what they're doing, come and sing it. All right? We're going to have a little moment of silence for the seafarers and the blessed people that have left us. And God bless Miss Georgette's family as they lay her to rest tomorrow. And all the many people. And then we have the blessed Miss Nasaria Suku is going to share a little bit of insight to what everybody can look forward to for Gimme Story. And then we're just going to enjoy some music and some good food. And in the parking lot we have a beautiful exhibit with thatch rope making and products from so many people: Miss Rosemary, Mr. Billy Deal, Miss Carolyn Carter, Mr. Jerry Lou. I just got off the phone with him. I go in East End tomorrow, get him if I got to. And I'm so so excited about that. Some people from East End, and I think West Bay, are also going to come in and sell some turtle and some conch. And I pretty much just, as I do every Thursday, as we've been doing for generations, invite people into our home and break bread together and have food and fellowship experience in the name of Cayman hospitality, culture, and heritage. I do this every Thursday. People have been doing this every day, all over all 3 islands. So the idea is for people to learn and reconnect, especially younger generations, families, to go out and explore what people have to offer. Maybe you've not done it in a long time. Go to Barker's, go to horseback riding, go to Kenbrack, go to Little Cayman. Engage, explore, educate yourself, and share your experience. We have Miss Tara Ebanks. She is going to be doing a little kids corner with reading a book that she has with some amazing work that her and some other people have done. And how amazing is that? Down on the beach right there. The kids are going to learn and listen to storytelling with her and her friends. And we got a little soldier crab race too. Yeah, like even my 4-year-old son, he not seen that yet, so I can't wait for little simple things, you know what I mean?
But they're fun, man.
Oh man, and Miss Cara Julian is going to be out there. We have, like I said, a cat book going to be out there. We got some live music from Dexter Bodden, Randy and Michael Wilkes and Eden Hurlston from Red Boat Experience are going to be out there. Please get your tickets for that. We're going to be promoting Stuart Wilson's performance that night, the Red Boat Experience at the Harkwell. Really and truly doing is I just want to invite everybody to come in and learn about what people have been doing is already established. So when you talk about we're not going to heritage and culture, I want you to stop, pause, and look around and see, here it is.
Yeah, man.
So you can't have that conversation with me. Nobody can say, well, you're right, we're not going to culture, we're going to heritage.
We're not supporting each other, and we're not embracing it, and we're not taking time.
You can say we feel disconnected. You can say we boiled up in you're right, we need to reconnect a little bit. Because it's not no minister's fault that nobody not show up to the Heritage Days. That's us. Now, things need to be organized and planned a little bit better, but it's not nobody's fault for none of this than us. And I'm sorry, but we got to take that on our chin ourselves.
We got to be responsible for that.
We got to be responsible for that. Now, we have reason to be, but you still don't have a reason to join the conversation and say that it's not worth investing in. So by nature, we have always found a way to come together.
Yeah.
When it comes to our culture and heritage, and that's just what inspired me to do this. Whether people show up or not.
Well, tomorrow, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Deal is blowing the conch shell, and I was hoping that Cat will just pull up and hopefully Romel will come up, pull up and do that the national song, and then have a lovely breakfast. That a nice little menu that we created to kind of pay homage to that. And again, that's just fun and having an exhibit of all kinds of crafts and art, and more important is for people to see and experience and learn and talk to these people that are they're icons. Yeah. I've spoken to every single one of them myself this week, and they're older. And this is we don't know how we can cancel Heritage Day. We don't know if they're going to be out next year. You know what I mean? And then we wish we had them. And then about heritage, that we do this every day. They do this every day.
Yeah.
And we have to put value on them. When you invite them to come out and exhibit at school or anything like that, you got to pay them. Don't take that for granted. Every one of them is getting paid to come there and show up. I value their time and what they're doing. I want people to come out there and buy their crafts for them.
Yeah.
So another reason is people look forward to this Heritage Day. This is one of the few times a year they really get to come out, whether they need to or not, and showcase and celebrate the culture. Miss Charlene Rivers made some beautiful cassava cake. She's bringing that out there. I got some bread just flowing in today from the Brack off the Express, right? Going the round bread, so you can come and get that too. Yeah. However, we can incorporate elements of the culture and heritage as an example. We're trying to make that visible and tangible tomorrow, but it's not just about tomorrow. I want people to be clear about this. We are looking at this a bigger picture, that we still need to celebrate the districts by having people go into the districts and experience the districts and what they have to offer. So over the next couple of weeks, we are designating, they're not national, I'm just designating some heritage days that we're going to be celebrating at Cabana. But for example, if we say, when we say Northside Heritage Day is Wednesday the 22nd, come to Cabana, and hopefully I'm inviting when we have all the district heritage days, we inviting those people from the district to come in for free, set up and sell food and have their Heritage Day celebration at the restaurant. But as important is we want you to go into the districts, go to Gimme Store in your district, go to Miss Vivian's, go to Grape Tree, go to Trout Farm, go to Bark, go do something that you can share your experience with your family and have a reconnection with that. I just think it's important, and that's the best way that I was able to put this together in a week and just try and look at a bigger picture, because it's not about an event. It's not about having a party. It's not about the venue. It's really about what is it that the conversation is. What are we doing about people having this false narrative conversation about we not going to culture and heritage worthwhile celebrating? And you look around all over the community and you see it alive and well.
Yeah. I like the word you said, reconnecting.
Yeah.
And we need to remember that, so that when we, speak, we speak from a position of not just respect, but we're resourceful. When we have within us that repository of information that we can share.
We got to remember this day, and people don't know what they're remembering.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate, I think, and I like how you shared. We have these conversations, but we're premised on a false narrative, and we may be inclined to do away with some things, to embrace some things, but who's driving it? Who is the part of the reason for the impediment? And maybe tomorrow there'll be a sobering reminder. I'm really looking forward to it. I know it will, and not even just about the reminder. Like I said, we've had that benefit and experience to identify with that. It's really about the next generation having something that they can identify as an alternative with that. And it's us, when the last time, people complain about it, but when the last time you bought a Swanky album or went a Swanky song or went to a Swanky performance or any of the local artists? We had a concert, we had a series a couple of weeks ago, and it was the top musicians in the whole Cayman Islands, all professional, top notch. Hardly anybody over there. Swanky and everybody was at the Hartwell, hardly anybody over there. Why? Yeah. That's something I have.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you're going to complain about why people, you can complain about, but to do something about it. Yeah. I'm not saying you got to show up, you got to wake up in the morning and start, plotting, but I just think,
I mean, I recall when you would have the live music in the evenings, right?
Yeah.
I miss that. You come for a wonderful meal, you sit. I love the sound of the surf. I love the smell and taste of the salt here.
Yeah.
And of course, the foods were great, right?
Yeah.
It's how I enjoy the concert. But it is that thing that we need to consciously do. Is it a trick of the enemy to keep us so busy that we are distracted and no longer connected? But you said it right, Luigi. We need to be conscious, and we need to make it.
That's the conversation.
Yeah, man.
You may be distracted, and that's fine. It happens. Life happens. I'm not saying everybody go wake up in the morning and sing an actual song, but you have to recognize that this is part of, it could potentially be part of an agenda where people are diluting it, and then it becomes easier for us to not fight back.
Yep. Well,
like, what we don't bother to do anything for.
Well,
they don't.
We better do it now, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you and the other guardians are doing, man. And I'm hoping tomorrow.
Yeah, and you can get So I just want to emphasize, it is about coming and learning, experiencing what is available around the island, throughout the community, and various organizations and people are doing to celebrate the culture. And when you understand that and learn about that, I challenge everybody over the next couple of weeks to go out into the community and connect, reconnect, and share with your family.
Yeah.
Some of those experiences and support these same people, and share that. Yeah. So I hope everybody come out tomorrow, and please, you'll be able to get your Red Boat experience tickets at the Hartwell tomorrow, and the performances at the Hartwell on Sunday. Stuart Wilson's performing at the Hartwell tomorrow night. I want to say a big thank you to the Cultural Foundation. I had a great conversation with them. They've been very supportive, and everyone who's been supportive of this initiative. Talk is one thing, though. Yeah. And we all come together and celebrate.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m. starting.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
10 a.m.
Come on
until the evening, and throughout the evening we got some music up until and fireworks tomorrow night too. Yeah, man. They're going town, check out the fireworks and the Pirate Week stuff, and pass through. Just enjoy everything that everybody is doing to celebrate the culture. And I thank everybody for it. I want to thank Mr. Jeremy Ebanks from West Bay, Tara Ebanks, and Cara, Julian, and everyone else that's been supportive and helping coordinate this. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, we also, I know you got time, but I'm trying to open this up to everybody, because look at the bus drivers, the bus tour operators. They pick up people from the port, and all day long they tell people about our culture and heritage. Some of them not even from here. And it would do good for some of us to go and jump on that bus and go do that tour ourselves. So we're having that opportunity. If anybody's interested, we got buses leaving, I think, at 3:30 tomorrow, and going around town, Heritage Square, and going out to West Bay, and you can take a little tour and understand. I think that'd be fun. Do that. Do something.
And you'll be mindful of.
So we're really opening this up, open canvas to everybody.
Start of something good, man.
Yeah, man. And we'll definitely look to continue that next year. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for all the positive support and encouragement to do it, because it is not easy. But guess what? We never gonna say we're gonna time and budget constraints in order to celebrate our culture. Yeah. We know about time and budget constraints, and I respect that. I was on the side of the road with my little Foster's milk carts and my fold-out table selling T-shirts. I look forward to Pirates Week every year. I know how it feels, and all these people look forward to it. And I just wanted to provide a platform and a space for them to do it. So thank you to everybody for the love.
And thank you, too, for continuing.
Yeah, man. And the great work you guys doing. Radio came out. You hear the commercials. You hear the accent. It's there.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because some of us don't seem to understand the importance.
No, man, it's there, and you got. I love it. I love it. I love the creativity of it. It's fun.
It has to be, boy. But again, if you don't do something, what will happen? All right, my friend. I have much to do.
Yes, sir.
And to share with you.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome, brother.
All right.
All right, tomorrow, join Luigi and everybody had to come on tomorrow. From
Came on here tomorrow.
There we go, man.
I just want to have to say this. At the end of this next couple of weeks, guess what? We're wrapping up with Cayman Thanksgiving. The end of the first weekend of December is Cayman Thanksgiving. So that's 12 years now since we've been celebrating that, and a lot of people don't know about that as well. So look up Cayman Thanksgiving on social as well. All right?
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. All right. Enjoy it. Be a part of the festivities at the Kamana. Respect and recognize your culture. Share it with somebody else and understand the heritage that we have, man. It goes back generations. And if we don't embrace it, if we don't share it and love it, hey, it's only on us.
Mm-hmm.
Join me, start. Come on in the morning for the record.
All right.
Listen to DJ Lynn, man. He's the man.
That's the man.
That's the man.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway. Open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your